expert. Today's expert is actually Andrea Bonsey, and she's a career counselor with a ton of experience in employment transition as well as life transition. And we think that she's the perfect person today to talk about preparing for change. And with no more ado, Andrea, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Carla. Thank you for the opportunity to present this webinar on self-care. And thanks to all of you who have taken the time and energy to sign up and take part. Self-care is something I believe is fundamental to success, however we each define that, in all areas of our lives. The intention of this presentation is to give you an overview of the components of self-care, to provide you with questions to enable you to consider your own unique and personal self-care plan, to provide you with suggestions to support your self-care plan and stay motivated, and to encourage you to be intentional with self-care. I'll start by giving you a little information about me so that I'm not just a vague voice out in the ether. I'm a practicing psychotherapist and career counsellor in private practice. My company is Navigation Counselling. I have a Master's of Education in Counselling. I work individually with children, youth and adults, and also facilitate workshops and group work. I have worked in adult education and in community agencies, providing support for those in personal, career and educational transition, as well as supporting others to manage transitions in their life. I have to constantly be practicing what I preach, having experienced a number of transitions in my personal and professional life. As you can probably hear, I'm originally from the UK, settling in Toronto in 2000 and moving to Halifax, Nova Scotia in 2006. With family changes in my life, I returned to Toronto this year. I'm a parent of 2 children, now in their teens and early adulthood, and I have a 1978 VW Westphalia camper van named Pickles that I bought in 2010. Pickles is my constant reminder to enjoy the journey. Our lives are complex. Our society is fast-paced and dynamic. We are constantly in transition. Our careers are no longer secure and stable, but dynamic and fluctuating. We live through periods of stability followed by periods of change. On a daily basis, we're all managing the complexities of the different roles we have, including as business owners and entrepreneurs, and as carers in our families and communities. Every day we make many decisions about our business, about our relationships, and about ourselves. Change brings opportunity and new learning about ourselves and the world. But at times it can be pretty scary being the one making change happen, or having to manage change happening to us. Our reaction or response to change is often dependent on how much control we feel we have, and what experiences and exposure we have had to change in our lives. In a society that has valued stability, we may not have been encouraged to take risk, or have been exposed to entrepreneurial skills, such as adaptability, flexibility, openness to opportunity, and self-belief that support us to navigate through times of uncertainty. We may now be carving our own paths with limited mentors and role models, and at times this can feel isolating. Yet entrepreneurial skills are becoming more and more important in our ever-changing economic, social, and political world, where job and economic stability is no longer the norm. Change can give us energy and motivation. We can revel in the choices it takes to initiate our own business, plan a vacation, have a child, or welcome a new pet. Change can also exhaust us. Maybe we are dealing with economic changes in our family unit, job loss, divorce, changes in health, or a bereavement. Think about those times when you are feeling stressed and overwhelmed with the choices in front of you, when you feel you are reacting to a situation rather than responding, when you end up doubting your decisions, feeling out of control or overwhelmed. Is your response to stop and take a break, or to work even longer and harder and not feel you have time to stop? And if change is inevitable, how can we learn to embrace it as an opportunity for personal and professional growth? This is when self-care awareness is helpful, both personally and professionally. We all know in theory that we need self-care. We may read articles on how to de-stress, take a vacation, practice life-work balance. Somehow, life keeps getting in the way, and the thought of self-care becomes another chore on the to-do list that we keep avoiding, feeling guilty and stressed by the very thought of making it happen. An image that helps me to prioritize my own self-care is that of the safety instructions given on a plane, to make sure that you put your own oxygen mask on first before you help another person. If part of our sense of self is wrapped up in our caring roles, that is especially important. How helpful can we be of others if we are burnt out? If we want to be role models for others, such as our children or co-workers, what messages do we give with our own behaviors? Paula Eder, a coach who specializes in managing time, encourages us to think of self-care as self-awareness plus follow-through. You are able to attune yourself to your energy level, inner balance, and level of fulfillment. Self-care helps you live your life more fully in the following ways. It affects how you experience day-to-day pressures. It shapes how well you respond under pressure. It supports you in making authentic and healthy professional and personal decisions. And self-care-based decisions improve the outcome of your hard work. Prioritizing physical and mental health is key to remaining energized and living to our potential throughout our lives, and being able to remain grounded, healthy, and making thoughtful choices during those inevitable times of transition. Throughout this webinar, I will raise questions. I encourage you to have a pencil and paper to hand and jot down your thoughts and feelings. Try not to identify what you should do. Shoulds are often external voices, putting us under additional pressure and can increase our sense of stress. Instead, as questions are raised, I encourage you to be playful about what changes you desire. Have curiosity about what's possible. Commit to try things. Even if something doesn't work, it's not a failure. Rather, it is information that you can use to experiment with the next possibility. My first question for you is, having taken a positive, healthy choice to not only sign up for a webinar on self-care, but to follow through and be participating today, what was it that you were hoping for from this presentation? Take a moment to think about what you were thinking when you saw details of this webinar arrive in your inbox. What support are you looking for right now in relation to your self-care? Now let's start to identify what you are already doing well, how you can improve your self-care, and what you need to prioritize with your physical and emotional health in your journey forward, and what you need to help you stay motivated. And remember that a self-care plan supports us to be aware of our behaviors, thoughts, and feelings. It's not intended to be another chore on your already overloaded to-do list. Rather, it's a way of regularly checking in with yourself in relation to the life journey you are traveling. I have identified the main areas of focus when we are developing and improving our self-care awareness. Our physical self, our body. Our mental self, our mind. Our emotional self, our feelings. Our spiritual or meaning-making self, our values. Our connections, relationships. Reflection, compassionate awareness of self. Starting with your physical self, consider what you do to look after this hard-working part of yourself. What do you enjoy in relation to nutrition and food, activity and exercise, rest and sleep? What steps can you take to improve caring for your body? At this point in time, think about what you can realistically commit to. For example, adding a portion of fruit to your eating habits each day, committing to a healthy breakfast, having a cut-off time for snacking in the evening, going to bed 30 minutes earlier, taking the stairs rather than the elevator, talking with a friend about an exercise class such as yoga or Pilates, walking to work twice a week, a glass of water with lemon first thing in the morning. Do you have access to health benefits? Do you have regular checkups with your family doctor? Do you visit a naturopath, osteopath, massage therapist, dentist, chiropractor? How much do you value your health? How much are you prepared to invest in keeping your body healthy? And who helps you with this? In relation to the health of your body, ask yourself this question and jot down your thoughts. What is the one thing that if I stopped doing right now would have the biggest impact on my physical health? For example, stop drinking coffee in the afternoon. Stop drinking alcohol during the working week. And the next question, what is the one thing that if I started doing right now would have the biggest impact on my physical health? For example, drinking herbal tea or a decaffeinated drink in the evening. Drinking 2 glasses of water with lemon each morning within the first hour of getting up. Remember to think realistically. You are looking for small, manageable steps that you know you could commit to. Looking at a long-term goal, such as going to the gym, when you haven't ever been to a gym, is going to be too complex. If you're interested in going to a gym, what would you need to do first, for example? Research local gyms, call a friend to see if a friend goes to the gym and you can go with them. And how do you look after your mental health? Your thoughts, beliefs, and your ability to increase your knowledge. Your thoughts determine your success. A positive attitude, resilience, hopefulness, belief in yourself, ability to adapt and seize opportunities, flexibility are all crucial to entrepreneurs. What are your consistent beliefs? How do you see the world? What influences your beliefs? What messages do you carry about yourself? Notice your thoughts. What kind of language do you use? Do you find yourself using but, can't, too busy, don't have time, deficit language? Are your beliefs working for you? Do you find yourself anxious, worrying about everything and everyone? The good news is that our beliefs are a story we live in. And as the authors of our own script, we have the ability to change the story. It takes practice and it can feel weird, but it's very possible. Think of the times when you are feeling most optimistic and positive. What is it about those times that supports you to see the world through that lens? What positive beliefs do you want to nurture? What helps you to stay looking out of that positive lens? Do you find a particular song or music supports you with positive thoughts? Can you identify the relationships, friendships, and mentors in your life who appreciate you and encourage you to be the most authentic you? When your thoughts are chattering too loudly, does taking a walk help you find more clarity? Or meditating, yoga, the gym, an inspirational book or movie? So, what is the one thing that if you stopped doing right now would have the biggest impact on your mental health? For example, what if you stopped saying yes all the time? What is the one thing that if you started doing right now would have the biggest impact on your mental health? For example, journaling first thing in the morning or last thing at night. meditating for 5 minutes each morning, lunchtime or evening, looking for a new job, researching counsellors or coaches, signing up for a professional development workshop. Our feelings can be seen as our guides. They help us identify the most authentic routes on our journey. We can be results-oriented, and in a small business, that can be essential. 5-year plans are essential to focus on the direction that we are going and identify how we need to adapt and develop our plans. However, we need to understand the emotions attached to our goals. Daniel Laporte believes that we are not chasing the goal itself, but that we're chasing the feelings that we want the goals to give us, that our feelings and desires drive us. What are the feelings attached to your professional and personal dreams? Listening to our emotions can be challenging, particularly if we are bombarded with advice and expectations of others. Setting up and running your own business often means that you work into the night, after dinner, early in the morning, or on holidays. Whilst this can be exciting, it can after time have negative impacts on your emotional energy. When we are developing and building up our own business, we are often doing everything, and often we get stuck in the activities that do not play to our strengths. For example, my struggle is bookkeeping. Think about the activities that give you energy, that excite and energize you. Think about the reasons you wanted to set up your own business. How can you manage getting those tasks done that feel like chores, that exhaust you? Are you able to delegate? Do you have the means to pay someone? Or can you structure your time more intentionally? For example, work in 50-minute segments with a 10 to 15-minute break. Change tasks if you're feeling your energy depleting. Notice the times of day when you are most energetic. Plan tasks that need your urgent attention for those times and tasks that you keep putting off. Reward yourself by planning activities you enjoy afterwards. Think about the environment you work best in. Spending too much time alone or at home and feeling isolated are big challenges for new small business owners. Consider coffee bars, libraries, shared workspaces to pick up on the energy of those around you. Think about environments that are uplifting. The beach, lakeshore, woods, cafes. If it's not practical to go there, find pictures, photos, images that you can surround yourself with and practice visualizations. Find time to step away, maybe for a walk, or practice meditation for 5 or 10 minutes each day. Nurture your creative, artistic, practical, social, intellectual sides. Find time to switch gears. And are you breathing? Let's just take a few seconds to stop and breathe. Put down your pencil. Sit with the soles of your feet on the floor and your palms on your thighs. Keep your back straight and loosen the tension in your neck and shoulders, your jaw, your forehead, eyebrows and head. And now take a deep breath in and breathe out in any way you choose. And again, another breath, however it comes to you. Be aware of the tension in your body, maybe in your neck, your shoulders, your jaw. Breathe into those areas and listen to your body. Now check in with your emotions, your body and your mind. You just gave yourself the gift of a pause in your day. I encourage you to practice this as many times as you need throughout each day. So what is the one thing that if you stop doing right now would have the biggest impact on your emotional wellness? And what is the one thing that if you started doing right now would have the biggest impact on your emotional wellness? How authentically are you living? Do you feel aligned with your inner desires and your own sense of purpose and meaning? Whatever spirituality or meaning-making means to you, it is the time when you feel connected to yourself and to something greater than you. It is when you feel you are living your values. Think about what moves you or upsets you. Share your beliefs and values. Connect yourself with others to be part of something bigger than yourself. Maybe it's a religious faith or a social or environmental concern. Maybe it's a time when you're with your family or community, or maybe when you're alone or practicing meditation, yoga or prayer. Maybe it's involvement in a political system or helping campaign for a cause you feel passionate about. It could be feeding your friends and family, or snow shoveling for a neighbor. Whatever it is, it will feed your sense of meaning or purpose. If you aren't sure how to name your values, think about those times when you have felt good about who you are and what you are doing, when time flies by, and think about what is getting in the way of you living more fully and true to yourself. So what is the one thing that if you stopped doing right now would have the greatest impact on your spiritual wellness? What is the one thing that if you started doing right now would have the greatest positive impact on your spiritual wellness? I believe as human beings we fundamentally need, desire, and seek human connection. That we need to feel connected, acknowledged, and understood by others. This is vital in our self-care plan as we develop our own businesses. It doesn't mean we need to find business partners. Rather, it means we need to find others who support and encourage us on our journey and who are excited for us. Whether we are introverts or extroverts, we all crave supportive, caring relationships. Who are the people in your life who support your journey? Who can be relied on to make you feel positive about your desires? Who provides useful, helpful advice? Who are the people with whom you can be your authentic self? Think about the people you have met throughout your life who have had a positive influence. Think about the positive messages they have given you about your abilities and potential. During times of anxiety, think about those people in your life and what they would say to you to encourage and support you. Make sure you are surrounding yourself with people who give you energy and limit your time around the people who sap you of energy. So what is the one thing that if you stop doing right now would have the greatest impact on your relationship wellness? And what is the one thing that if you started doing right now would have the greatest positive impact on your relationship wellness? Often we are so busy that we do not notice how far we have come. Instead, we focus on how far there is to go. Taking regular pauses to reflect on what we have achieved and to permit ourselves to celebrate is energizing. In fact, without that time for reflection, we cannot achieve any sense of satisfaction with what we are doing. Remember when the idea for your business or project was still an inarticulated desire in your heart. There was a feeling attached to what you wanted to achieve. Maybe it was excitement, or independence, or work-life balance, or acknowledgement or appreciation. It was the driving force in you, moving your dream to a reality. Without reflection, you will be challenged to feel that feeling. Without reflection, it's difficult to notice how far you have come. Reflection allows us to take stock, to notice what has worked well, and what needs more care and attention. It allows us to be more intentional and to reassess our professional and personal needs before we move forward. It means we are able to consider how we respond to situations rather than react to them without thought. That's not to say that at times we don't need to make instantaneous decisions based on our gut instinct. This can be valuable and crucial. However, without allowing ourselves times of intentional reflection, a pause, we may become confused about what is our gut instinct versus following the pressures of others. Celebrating our success can be difficult. We may have been socialized to not be seen as arrogant, or we may have come to believe that what we do is never enough. Wouldn't it be wonderful to learn to enjoy the journey rather than remain solely focused on a future-oriented goal? Practice rewarding your achievements. Maybe you made that phone call that you've been putting off, or just got a new client, or moved into a new office, or gave a talk about your product or service. Pat yourself on the back and notice your personal and professional growth. So, what is the one thing that if you stop doing right now would have the greatest impact on your practicing reflection? And what is the one thing that if you started doing right now would have the greatest positive impact on your practicing reflection? To wrap up, this presentation has identified that any change requires energy. Self-care is crucial to keep you energized and to keep you aware of when your energy fuel tank needs refilling. Self-care is essential for career and entrepreneurial success. Scheduling regular time to check in with your self-care needs is a necessity, not a luxury. Finding others who encourage you to take time for self-care supports your success. And take time to reflect, notice and celebrate your successes. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions or thoughts following this webinar. I would love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. That was great. I think it was the perfect time of year to actually do some